I want to wish happy Thanksgiving to my next guest, Amani Toomer, where you can hear him live on NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network, NBCSportsRadio.com. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Amani. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Very good. And on Thanksgiving Day, you like playing on Thanksgiving?
I've never played on Thanksgiving, not to my knowledge, but I think it would be cool to have done it. Cowboys seem to do it every year. They don't have a problem with their Thursday night schedule. So it's weird. Like, players hate it. They hate it. But then when it's Thanksgiving, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. We can play on Thanksgiving.
We don't mind the Thursday game on the Thanksgiving because we want something on Thanksgiving. The Thursday games the rest of the year we can kind of do without. But speaking of the Cowboys, they got run roughshod by the Eagles the other night. And just wanted to get your take on now what we see from Philly, as this is the time of the year. When you hit Thanksgiving, Amani, this is when the men separate from the boys, and it looked like the Eagles were making their statement the other night that they're trying to separate from the pack.
Yeah, they are, and they're playing great right now. My only concern is that I played on a team that was we got out of the box 11-1, and then we only won one more game after that. I'm just concerned, have they played their best football? Or are they going to be continuing to get better?
Right.
Because they're going to have to if they're going to want to win the Super Bowl. It's great that they're playing well now, yeah, but is Peter's absence going to start to show its ugly head? I know they moved over Lane Johnson to the left tackle, but are they going to start to show fissures? Obviously, they're playing well, and I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just, through my experience, there's very few teams that can just run from the beginning of the year all the way to the end and play and keep on playing at a high level, because now they're going to have a different issue. Most people, I think, can handle failure. They can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, so they can use the failure as motivation to go on and have success. But can you deal with success? Now,
right.
They're not going to have a meaningful game for a long time. They pretty much already sewn up the NFC East. They pretty much sewn up a home field bye in one way or the other, either to be the first seed or the second seed. What happens if they win 2 or 3 more games and they have their first round bye already sewn up, and they have their division already sewn up, and they still have a month left to play football? I mean, that's they're going to be their issue, and it's going to be how are they going to react in those games where they don't have anything to play for, and also how are they going to react when they finally have a meaningful game again with something on the line in the first week of the first week of the playoffs, after the wild card round. That, to me, that was a sticking point for the Giants team that I was on that
right.
went 11-1 and ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that's the concern is, if you start to wrap things up and hit that checklist off, how much intensity some of these games will have late in the year. They do play the Rams coming up. They do have Seattle, so I guess there's a couple games with meaning there. But when you look at Philly and you watch a Philadelphia Eagles game, are they a team that is a running team, a passing team, a balanced team? Have they found an identity that you like?
Yeah, I think the quarterback is their identity. I mean, he's the guy who kind of when you think of the Eagles and you think of their offense, Carson Wentz and some of how well he's played. Their defense is coming around. They got Darby back. He came back with an interception again. First game with the Eagles, he had an interception. Went out for a long time with a sprained or broken ankle problem. Comes back again, has another interception. That says a lot. And that secondary was one of the problems that people were thinking would be a weakness of that Philadelphia Eagle football team, and that's not proving to be so. And I think a lot of it has to do with what they have up front. I mean, the way to have a great secondary 100% of the time,
right,
is have a great defensive line, have a great pass rush. That makes every secondary look a lot better than they actually are. You can't expose them if you can't get to them. The quarterback's on his back. So I think the fact that they've really bolstered up that defensive line, they got Brandon Graham playing well, got Fletcher Cox, they got all these guys coming off the edge, that there are problems. They have to be dealt with. And if they're not dealt with, your quarterback is going to get is not going to be able to look downfield. So, yeah, there's a lot of things about this Philadelphia team, the Eagles team, that I really like.
Spending some time with Amani Toomer from NBC Sports Radio. I think you break it up into these three. You got the Rams, the Saints, and the Vikings. And the Vikings beat the Rams. The Saints came from behind from the Saints. So each week we seem to learn a little bit more about those teams. How are you feeling about that trio right there? Which team do you like the best after watching them last week?
I like the Saints. I mean, to me, what they did, even though it was at home, was more impressive than anything. I mean, you're down at home to a team that's, it's like a 15-round prize fight. When the championship rounds come around, back in the day, it was the 13th through the 15th. Those are the championship rounds. When they were going on, that's when you really had to kind of buckle down. You kind of figured out who you were. And last week is any indication of how tough and resilient mentally this team is. I'm scared of the Saints, man, especially with Drew Brees not even being the main focal point of that team. Ingram playing as well as he is, the rookie that they got playing as well as he is, they're both running back spots. Their defense is really come around. I'm telling you, this is a team that I'm scared. I would be really nervous about because of the firepower that they have at every single level of their defense and of their offense.
Okay, Amani, we got the Panthers look like they're in some good shape at 7-3, but you got that next group for that last wild card spot. Seattle looks banged up. They just lost to the Falcons, so let's throw the Falcons in there as well. And then you get the Lions, who have a really favorable schedule. Of those three, Seattle, Atlanta, Detroit, which way do you lean there?
I got to go Atlanta. I mean, for them to go into Seattle and win in the way in which they did, I just think that they're a team that I think the South is going to have two teams this year. They're going to have the Carolina Panthers and they're going to have the Atlanta Falcons because at the end of the day, I think they're the more talented team of all those. And, they were dealing with the getting over the Super Bowl loss. And
yep.
Most teams who lose in the playoffs don't, kind of struggle early on. And that's exactly what they did. But I think the last couple of weeks have been playing well. I think when they get Devonta Freeman back, I think the fact that he was out and they still, won and played as well as they did, I think that's a huge success for them. And I don't care how you do it. If you beat the Seattle Seahawks on the road up in Seattle, that's a big game. That's a big win. Not a lot of people can go up there and win. Not a lot of people say that they could go up there and win. I've never won there. So, that's a big win.
All right, we'll leave you on this. We've got Pittsburgh 1, New England 2. Jacksonville is 3, but they're only a game back. Their schedule is very favorable. Are you buying Jacksonville in the race for a home game, one of those top 2 seeds?
Absolutely, because Jacksonville has a head-to-head win over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
So if all else is equal, then they're going to take that spot. Yeah, I definitely believe Jacksonville has an opportunity to do that now. Down their stretch, their schedule gets a little easier, but a young team, kind of just being happy with the success that they have, I think that could be a problem. But I don't think Tom Coughlin, I don't think, this team is noticeably different. There's a difference of this team, and I think it has a lot to do with who's up in their front office and Tom Coughlin. He just does not take he's not taking any of the stuff. I love what they did with Leonard Fournette, sitting him down when he didn't, show up for anything. When you're asked to be somewhere, and you're supposed to be a professional. You got to teach him young to be a professional. I think that's one of the mistakes he made with Odell Beckham Jr. in New York, kind of letting him do his own thing. And most players don't get better in terms of more accountable as they get older. They get less unless you let them know right off the bat what's expected of them. I would play with Jeremy Shockey. It was the exact same situation. You kind of let him go his rookie year, kind of think he's going to mature on his own. No, you got to help these guys, especially coming from these programs where, they've been coddled so much. You got to let them know that, hey, look, this is a different level. You're going to be as accountable as everybody. We don't treat anybody different. I think that's huge. It's going to help Leonard Fournette down his career, knowing that, everybody on his team is expecting a lot of him, and his team is not going to give him give him an inch in terms of this because he's one of the best rookies of the year.
And Amani would know he played for Tom Coughlin in New York with the Giants. He's now with NBC Sports Radio, where you can hear him at NBCSportsRadio.com. Download the NBC Sports Radio mobile app today. Happy Thanksgiving, Amani. We'll talk next week, pal.
You too, man.